Cheers, Ollie. We are just watching the Paris Saint-Germain players being introduced to the crowd in Atlanta one by one. Gigi Donnarumma, the giant goalkeeper, the latest to emerge in his yellow strip, takes his place alongside those club colleagues who have already come out of the tunnel. We haven't seen any of the Bayern Munich party yet, ahead of what surely is the biggest game of the competition so far, the current European champions against the six-time kings of the continent, the biggest team in France against the household name in Germany. PSG bidding to round off their treble-winning season with a first ever World Club Cup success. Bayern bidding to win it for a third time. Dean Ashton with so many superstars on show. This surely can't let us down.
No, it shouldn't, because both teams will want to dominate, and they've got such fantastic attacking players that you would be very surprised if either defence was able to hold out against some of the stars that are going to be on show. You'd have to say, despite that record, as you talked about, of Bayern winning the last four of this fixture, that PSG would have the edge. They've looked just so terrific in so many games. The threat they have on the break with the pace of the front three, and I'm fascinated as well to see the two midfields go up against each other. Vitinha, Neves and Ruiz for PSG against Kimmich, Pavlovic and Musiala. And I'm not really surprised actually that the youth and energy, I think, of Pavlovic and Musiala are in for this, because it's such a fantastic PSG midfield.
Bayern's number 9, England captain Harry Kane, has just come out of the tunnel, only one behind now in the race for the Golden Boot. Of course, he won that at the International World Cup back in 2018, so extra motivation for the former Spurs man. The roof is on inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not quite full to capacity, but still plenty of excitement, and this half of the draw is littered with big names. Real Madrid against Dortmund in the Bellingham brother derby, although Joe suspended for that one. In the other semi-final on this side, live on TalkSport later this evening. And the point that Ollie Klink was making there to Rory Jennings, Chelsea must look at this half of the draw and think, my word, we certainly lucked in here.
Yeah, I mean, it was so heavily stacked, wasn't it? The side of PSG and Bayern, and Real Madrid, of course, Borussia Dortmund. But sometimes, yes, you get those lucky breaks, and the fact that Bayern lost and Benfica went through was that lucky break that Chelsea needed, and they've taken advantage of it, and will feel they can certainly get to the final, where they will face possibly one of these two, and probably Real Madrid, which will make for some final.
Yeah, just confirmation of the lineups for you. Paris Saint-Germain unchanged from the side that swept aside Lionel Messi's Inter Miami in the round of 16. Two changes, as Dean's already alluded to, as far as Bayern Munich are concerned. Pavlovic coming in alongside Kimmich in midfield, with Goretzka dropping to the bench. Jamal Musiala, who was rested for the last round, replaces Serge Gnabry in the number 10 position. So the two lineups in full for you. Donnarumma, the goalkeeper for PSG, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Nuno Mendes, the back four. João Neves, Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz make up the midfield, with Barcola and Kvaratskhelia either side of Doué in attack for Bayern Munich. Neuer, the goalkeeper, Lima, Upamecano, Tar and Stanisic, the back four. Kimmich and Pavlovic in midfield. Elise, Musiala, Coman are in behind Harry Kane in attack. It is a very warm day in Atlanta, around about 30 degrees, midday local time, hence the fact the roof is on, so those inside the stadium will be able to keep their cool. How do Bayern Munich go about stopping PSG and this attack that has been in such fantastic form in the second half of the season?
Well, I think that's partly why Stanisic is playing predominantly a left back. Well, I'm sure Tuck in, Lima as well can do the same. It's that back four that's going to be really tested on the counter-attack, and there can't be many spaces between them.
Well, before kick-off, the two sets of players lined up around the centre circle. We will observe a minute's silence in memory of the tragic former Liverpool forward Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, who sadly lost their lives in a car crash in Spain this week. And a very emotional scene before kick-off. A number of Portuguese players in the Paris Saint-Germain side in particular. Our thoughts go out once again to the friends and family of Diogo Jota and Andre Silva in the wake of that harrowing news we received in the early hours of Thursday morning. Well, we are ready for kick-off here on TalkSport. The third of the four Club World Cup quarter-finals. It will be Chelsea against Fluminense in one semi-final. But who will join them tonight? Paris Saint-Germain with the best defence in the competition so far. Bayern Munich, the joint leading goal scorers. So will it be the Parisians' immovable object or the Bavarians' irresistible force that prevails? We are off and underway, and it is PSG, all in navy blue, shooting from left to right in this first half, who get us underway. Bayern Munich in their predominantly red strips with white streaks on their jerseys, shooting from right to left. And we saw from kick-off, Dean Ashton, PSG did exactly what they did against Inter Milan in that Champions League final. It was almost like a rugby player looking for touch early on.
Yeah, it is. It's looking for territory almost early on in the game to push up, which just seems so unlike the rest of the way that they play, where they want complete control. They want the ball not to be given away as cheaply as it was there.
Well, PSG would be expected to dominate possession. They've averaged 72% across the course of their game so far, more than any other team. But it's Harry Kane coming forward down the right-hand side for Bayern Munich. Maybe was a bit too aggressive there and conceded a free kick on the edge of the Parisian penalty area away to our left. And it will be a free kick taken by Donnarumma inside his own 18-yard area.
I mean, both teams will want to dominate possession. I actually think PSG will relinquish it slightly more because they'll want to draw Bayern Munich out, knowing that pace. I mean, Barcola, Kvaratskhelia and Doué, just electric when they break as a trio. And Bayern Munich will just have to make sure they don't isolate Upamecano and Jonathan Tah in wide areas against those players.
Luis Enrique watching on, looking very relaxed in a pair of shorts and a white t-shirt. The PSG manager, the man who finally ended their quest for the Holy Grail that was the Champions League. Vincent Kompany alongside him on the touchline, wearing a black baseball cap, white t-shirt as well. The ex-Burnley manager managed to bring the title back to Bayern last season. In his first year in charge, PSG have a throw over on the far side. We played 3 minutes at 0-0 here on TalkSport, over on TalkSport 2 right now. Live commentary of Wales against Netherlands in the Women's Euros. PSG looking very comfortable in possession early on. Here is Fabian Ruiz looking to spread the ball out to his left-hand side. And it was Elise who had his pocket picked, and there might be an opportunity here, and the shot just wide from the edge of the area by Doué. And it was really clumsy play by Elise after the ball had been switched out to that right-hand side. He was dispossessed by Kvaratskhelia. Doué thought about playing in the George and went for the shot. And with the goalkeeper, Neuer, scrambling to his right-hand side, it's just wide for a goal kick.
Well, we know Michael Elise is relaxed in his nature anyway and backs himself. But he just switched off, he didn't check his shoulder. Kvaratskhelia just picking his pocket and playing in Doué, who then used the run of Kvaratskhelia, who was on the outside, just faked to play it in, cut inside onto his right foot. It was a decent strike, but actually the angle had narrowed because it was good covering from Tah. It meant he couldn't go for the far post. He went for the near and was a couple of yards wide, but just a little warning there to Bayern Munich, because those forward players, and it's the difference, this PSG side, out of possession, they don't have any passengers. You know, the front players work incredibly hard to win it back.
And that's the big contrast as well to when they had the likes of Lionel Messi and Neymar, Kylian Mbappe even. Maybe didn't do that work out of possession. The likes of Kvaratskhelia on the ball now does. 0-0 with 4 minutes gone. Certainly PSG moving the ball around with more zest and more efficiency in their play. And this is Hakimi, who scored the opener in the Champions League final a few weeks ago. Well forward again, but dispossessed inside the area, again hassling and harrying to try and win it back up against Stanisic, and in the end it's cleared away down the right hand side by Upamecano. I mean, you'd have thought Bayern Munich would have got the memo, don't dilly-dally in possession against this PSG team, but it doesn't look that way in the first 5 minutes.
No, it doesn't. It's been such a big feature of their Champions League success, has been that energy out of possession of the forward players. And once again they were almost caught there, Stanisic this time, but it just took too long. I'm interested to see Musiala against Vitinha. Vitinha's been terrific in that position, really grown in stature as a player, but actually hasn't been tested yet really in this competition from that position. I think Musiala has got a great opportunity to find space and test him defensively.
Yeah, it's been pretty serene for both these teams so far. They have both lost one game. PSG beaten 1-0 by Botafogo. Bayern Munich going down 1-0 to Benfica by the same scoreline, albeit they'd already secured qualification. Vincent Kompany's side by then, as Marquinhos heads the ball out from inside his own area. Not much distance on the clearance. Kane able to cut it back. Here's Elise with a low shot. It's an easy save down to his right by Donnarumma.
Yeah, it was nice work from Harry Kane. Really picked out Pavlovic on the edge of the area. He just took a touch forwards and then a little roll back heel to Michael Elise, and you're expecting the far corner net to bulge when he opens up that left foot of his. It was just a really weak effort, just dribbling along the floor in the end for Donnarumma just to gather.
He has had a sensational season, Elise. 20 goals in all competitions, 3 and 2 assists already in the Club World Cup since that move from Crystal Palace around about a year ago. Bayern Munich have got a free kick over on the far side, which Elise will prepare to swing in. The referee tonight, by the way, is Anthony Taylor. It hasn't gone unnoticed amongst the Bayern Munich supporters that exactly a year ago today he was in charge of Germany's European Championship exit at the hands of Spain when he controversially didn't give Germany a penalty for a Marc Cucurella handball. That's been one of the talking points amongst the Bayern supporters over in the States. Free kick here though, yard in from the right touchline, level with the 18-yard marker, and an opportunity for Elise or Kimmich to try and test this PSG defence. They've only conceded 1 goal so far in the competition. Short one from Kimmich into Elise, clever. Kimmich with a low cross towards the near post, stabbed away by Kvaratskhelia. It's not clear yet though by Paris Saint-Germain, and then Fabian Ruiz under pressure concedes a throw. That's better from Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's a clever free kick between the two of them. Elise and Kimmich just combining to get a better angle actually for the free kick into a crossing area. Again, it just wasn't a great delivery twice, once from Kimmich and then from Musiala.
Ball collected by Donnarumma, the Italian goalkeeper for Paris Saint-Germain. All of the players wearing black armbands tonight in memory of Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. And here's Elise over on the far right touchline again, looking for the overlapping Lima. He's got 3 red shirts in the centre, into the penalty. That's a dreadful cross from Lima. With options in the centre, he got right underneath it. It's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was just poor positioning in the end from Mendes. He never really went out to Elise. Elise then just releasing Lima down the right hand side. Absolutely no pressure on him, so how he can get that so horribly wrong, up and over the top of Donnarumma and out for a throw-in when he had 3 players to pick out, was really poor.
So 0-0 here, 9 minutes gone in the Club World Cup quarter-final. Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich, live on TalkSport, over on TalkSport 2. It's Wales 0, Netherlands 0 in the Women's Euros. And following us from 7 tonight, Adrian Durham will host live coverage of the Lionesses' first game of their European Championship defence. They take on France in Zurich. Adrian alongside Joe Shannon, the former Lioness Tash Dowie, and the ex-WSL striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Kick-off at 8 o'clock. We've also got a special Lionesses phone-in hosted by our own Darren Bent after full-time in Switzerland. Here's Lima for Bayern Munich. Midway inside the PSG half, scoops the ball into the area, headed away by Hakimi, and then helped on down this right-hand side. And an opportunity for Bradley Barcola to get involved in the play. Looks for Doué. dispossessed on the edge of the area. Doué, and the opportunity for Upamecano to clear the ball long upfield and maybe do better than that. He's actually picked out Elise. His first touch was just slightly heavy as he plucked the ball from the sky, and that enabled Nuno Mendes, who had such a good game in the Nations League final up against the tricky Lamine Yamal, to poke it out of play for a Bayern throw. 10-0, 0-0.
Yeah, he's the best left back for me in the world, Nuno Mendes. And Elise, he's got his work cut out, but I actually think just the way Elise plays, he's not looking to get beyond him really. He'll look to come short and be clever in the way that he plays in and around Mendes. It might be a different task for the PSG left back.
Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, watching on as his jamboree reaches the quarter-final stage. Ball forward by Ruiz for PSG. Barcola down the right-hand side for Hakimi, who's always such a willing runner. Can he get across into the area here? Hakimi pulls it back to Luiz. He didn't realise that Musiala had tracked him, wins it back and then releases Elise over the halfway line. You can hear the roar of anticipation from the Bayern fans inside the stadium as Elise comes forward, but his low ball into the box is intercepted by Mendes once more. And now the chance for PSG to come forward down their right. 12 gone, 0-0 on TalkSport. The pass is just a little bit heavy, I thought, from João Neves, but the referee has given a free kick for a late challenge. Maybe the first yellow card here for Samasic, who looks distinctly unimpressed. It was Hakimi went through the back of.
No,
he's won the ball,
it's
hasn't
a
he?
great challenge. He's just anticipated it, slid in, yes. The follow-through catches Hakimi's toe, but it's just a good challenge. I think actually it's the referee's assistant on that side that's called it. I don't think Anthony Taylor did initially.
Well, Vincent Kompany not happy with the decision. He's in conflab with the fourth official. It happened right in front of the Bayern bench as well, so he had a good view of it. The ex-Manchester City captain. Free kick for PSG, maybe rather fortunate to win it. No yellow card was shown as Vitinha plays the ball short in field for Fabian Ruiz. And Vitinha once again comes into the centre of the Bayern half and then just guides the ball out to the left of Nuno Mendes. Mendes back inside his own half of the field, finds the long-serving Marquinhos. PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0 here on TalkSport. 0-0 between Wales and the Netherlands over on TalkSport 2. In the early hours of this morning we brought you Chelsea's 2-1 victory against Palmeiras. They're in the last four on the other side of the draw. They'll take on Fluminense live on Tuesday night here on TalkSport. The winners of this game will play either Real Madrid or Borussia Dortmund, and we've got live commentary of that semi-final from the Club World Cup later this evening on TalkSport. Free kick for Bayern Munich just inside their own half. Manuel Neuer, all in lime green, is going to take it. Been an intriguing opening 13
Yeah, it has.
minutes.
I mean, look, both teams have had a good bulk of the possession and gotten into threatening areas, but we're lacking the quality yet, aren't we?
Neuer out to the left-hand side, looking for Kingsley Coman, who can't quite keep the ball in play. It's going to be a throw-in for PSG, level with their 18-yard line. And that will be taken by the Moroccan international Hakimi. 10 goals from right back over the course of the season for Achraf Hakimi. Bayern have won it back. A chance here for Lima, just to dink the ball out to the left corner of the penalty area, and Coman's cross was an awkward one because it took a deflection on its way through and headed behind by Pacho, facing his own goal for what I think is the first corner of the evening.
Yeah, it's a decent ball in from Coman, just arcing in towards Musiala, and Elise in behind. And Pacho knew exactly what he was doing there with that defensive header, made sure he got enough on it as he was stretching back towards his own goal to head that up and over for the corner. Otherwise Elise would have been there to side foot home.
Elise stands over the corner from the right hand side, so it's going to be a left-footed in-swinging delivery. Harry Kane trying to make a nuisance of himself right in front of Donnarumma, the PSG goalkeeper. Kimmich has come across for the short corner, but I think he's going to whip this in, Elise. And Donnarumma ran into a crowd there. He's been given a free kick. I think he ran into one of the Bayern players as opposed to anything else. It was Upamecano, maybe just leaning with a forearm.
Well, I think the problem is for Upamecano there, as that ball is going over his head, he's then turned and looked at Donnarumma and has stopped the goalkeeper. I would have thought claiming that ahead of Jonathan Tah.
He played as big a part as any of the attacking players in that Champions League triumph, didn't he, Donnarumma? The saves that he made in the second leg against Aston Villa at Villa Park, the second leg at home against Arsenal in the semi-final. And the criticism that has blighted him, Dean, throughout his career is that he makes those spectacular saves, but he does make one or two glaring errors as well.
But I think they've become few and far between now. Yes, of course, every mistake's going to be highlighted because of the type of goalkeeper he is.
Musiala into Elise. Bayern just growing in confidence here. Elise, little back heel on the edge of the area to Lima. Now Joshua Kimmich. Again, quickly closed down by João Neves. They managed to recycle possession. Bayern out to Elise on the right-hand side. Left-footed ball into Harry Kane. I think he was just trying to nod it down there into the path of Pavlovic, who burst forward. Just got slightly too much on the header, and it's collected by Donnarumma. It stays 0-0.
But that's what he's always had, Harry Kane. He's had that awareness, that unselfishness still to just try and find a teammate in the area. And did so there with the cushion header. Just wasn't on the same wavelength. But again, you're right, Bayern really starting to control this game.
And they'll be buoyed by that head-to-head record that we spoke about before the game against Paris Saint-Germain. Coman into Pavlovic, back to Musiala on the left corner of the penalty area, looking for Conrad Lima. Marquinhos there bravely makes the clearance, and here's Kvaratskhelia, scampers away from Elise. He's got to get past Upamecano as well. He tries to knock it beyond the big central defender. He did really well to Upamecano just to get his body in the way of Kvaratskhelia and the ball and help it back to his keeper Neuer. Well, he's such an exciting player to watch, Kvaratskhelia.
So positive, isn't he, as now Bayern on the break.
Pavlovic again, out to Musiala. Something this game is beginning to open up between two of the genuine heavyweights in the competition. João Neves has gone down and won himself a free kick. I say won himself because, again, I'm not sure there was that much contact from Kingsley Coman. Clever from the Portuguese international.
Yeah, very clever, just stepping across, didn't he, Neves? But going back to Kvaratskhelia, one of the most positive wingers I think you'll ever likely to see. Honestly, that first touch is always straight at the defender. He's going to get at them. But Upamecano, who's had a long time out with injury, coming back for this tournament and seems to be getting stronger every game, looked more than comfortable there actually with his own pace.
And it can't be understated actually the impact that Kvaratskheilia's arrival from Napoli in the January transfer window had on PSG in the second half of the season. That and the decision from Luis Enrique to change the position of Ousmane Dembele ultimately led them all the way in the Champions League, and they were so good in that final against Inter Milan, so dominant, the most one-sided final in the history of the competition. 19 minutes gone here. This is a bit more even. PSG 0, Bayern 0. Same scoreline over on TalkSport 2 in the Women's Euros. Wales against the Netherlands. But here's Hakimi in space, and this is where they're so dangerous. Hakimi into the penalty area, looks for Kvaratskhelia, tight angle into the side netting. But all of a sudden, from Bayern Munich looking in a position of control, the blue shirts came flooding forward, and there were three men in behind him.
Yeah, it all started with Barcola with a beautiful touch, playing in towards Doué, and then Coman not doing his defensive work.
He's doing his attacking work now, though, at the other end. End-to-end stuff in Atlanta. Lima finds Elise on the edge of the 18-yard box. Elise trying to make some space for himself. Closed down quickly, so goes back to Kimmich, and they've got plenty of blue shirts now. PSG back behind the ball again. An illustration of just how hard this team work for each other. Here's Coman though, slaloming away for a couple of challenges, finding Lima inside the area. Lima with a cross over the head of Kane and Coman, and out for a throw.
Yeah, it's been the story of the match. His delivery from wide areas at the moment not good enough. It was the same up the other end. Hakimi totally free, Coman not doing the defensive work. He just overstretched the cross for Kvaratskhelia, who again from a tight angle went for goal when he should have played it back to Doué, who was screaming for a tap-in. And the same down the other end, Lima having good space, no pressure, poor cross.
Well, it is a sensational Saturday of live sport. There's been a wicket at Edgbaston. Here's Sam Ellard.
Yeah, early wicket for India. England 11 for 1. Crawley goes for a duck. Driving a wide ball from Siraj straight to backward point. A great start for India. England's target for victory, and a likely one of 608. England 1 down for 11 runs.
And let's check in on the progress of the Wales women at the European Championships. Here's Charlotte Richardson.
First game in a major tournament, of strapped in, ready to defend, comfortable with bodies behind the ball as the Dutch dominate possession. It's been a solid start for Wales against the former European champions. Full commentary of this one over on TalkSport 2. Wales 0, Netherlands 0.
A reminder, we've got live commentary of the Lionesses as they begin the defence of their European title. England against France from Zurich following us tonight. Bayern Munich got an injury issue here, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, Stanisic just holding the back of his hamstring. The problem is it's going to be tested fully by Bradley Barcola. He's already had a couple of instances where Barcola's tested him for pace and he's not got the matching of him, and maybe just overstretched that hamstring. He wants to continue, he gives a thumbs up, but Sacha Boey is waiting and could possibly come on to replace him.
Yeah, Stanisic just jogging up and down the touchline, almost like he's trying to prove his fitness to the Bayern physio. So momentarily they are down to 10 men. Looks like he will try and continue. Stanisic, the Croatian, as Kingsley Coman is dispossessed by Barcola. The PSG fans enjoyed that. And here is Kvaratskhelia down the left-hand side. Cuts the cross back, chance for Ruiz. Left-footed from 16 yards out, couldn't keep it down, and it remains goalless.
No, and again, it's the positivity. Kvaratskhelia on that side, little flicking towards Doué. It's actually Pavlovic that slips at the crucial moment, leaving it for Fabian Ruiz on his favoured left foot. And he gets it horribly wrong, up and over the crossbar when it needed more, just a caressed side foot either side of Neuer. It's a big chance.
Midway through the first half, still we await the first goal of this Club World Cup quarter-final. Both teams have had positive moments, but neither goalkeeper seriously troubled as of yet. Donnarumma launches the ball forward into the Bayern half. It's headed away by Stanisic, who looks like he will be okay, at least for now, to carry on. Manuel Neuer clearing the ball right-footed from the edge of the penalty area. One back well by Nuno Mendes over on the left-hand side. Now Kvaratskhelia takes over into João Neves, or Vitinha rather. He tries to slide it forward by Barcola, and Stanisic slipped there on the edge of the box and is grateful that Pavlovic was there to help him out. Seen a couple of Bayern players lose their footing in the first quarter of this game.
Yeah, crucial moments as well. A little bit lucky there, Stanisic, that Barcola didn't get away. Is his hamstring okay or not? I mean, it's going to be fully tested. I would be surprised if he makes it to half-time.
Manuel Neuer with a bit of a slice clearance. João Neves there ahead of Musiala, and Vitinha just prods it back into the PSG half, and Hakimi in turn picks out the goalkeeper Donnarumma. You are listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on TalkSport, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Simply sign up at dazn.com. And we will have both semi-finals Tuesday and Wednesday, and the final next Sunday live right here on TalkSport. Chelsea, according to the boffins at Opta, were favourites going into the quarter-finals to lift the trophy. I guess that's a reaction to the fact they found themselves on the so-called easier side of the draw with no other European opponent. PSG are still holding favouritism with the bookmakers, having recently won the Champions League, of course. Ball launched forward by Jonathan Tah, but helped back to his goalkeeper Donnarumma by Nuno Mendes. And almost given away on the edge of the area by Marquinhos. They're a bit fortunate there, PSG.
Yeah, Musiala just overstretching slightly as well and feeling his muscle. That's the one thing Bayern haven't got. They haven't really got that threat in behind, so PSG can be nice and aggressive in the way that they defend, knowing and maybe not going to beat them for pace by the Bayern front line.
Ruiz forward, keeping the ball well here, PSG. Vitinha out to his left-hand side and Nuno Mendes. Now some space for Kvaratskhelia. Away from Upamecano. Crosses over the head of Hakimi. And it's kept in play on this near side by Neves. Little step over from Fabian Ruiz. Vitinha 10 yards outside the penalty area. Opts to switch the play out to the left again. And Kvaratskhelia running at Elise this time. They can't handle him. And he gives the ball away, Kvaratskhelia. Certainly has been the big danger for the Parisians in these opening 26 minutes. It's still 0-0. And here come Bayern at the other end, looking to exploit the fact that PSG had a number of players forward inside the opposition half. Coman now comes in on his right foot, stands the ball up for Pavlovic. Chance for Konrad Laimer maybe to get a shot away. Opted to play in Elise down the right hand side instead, and now those blue shirts are back in number away to our left hand side. You feel maybe, Dean, that Bayern have got to move the ball a little bit quicker to hit PSG on the counter.
Well, again, just maybe because of that slight lack of pace, it does have to be moved quickly. And those spaces are lovely from Kane.
Yeah, lovely footwork to get away from Vitinha. Manages to bulldoze his way through and leaves the ball for Musiala. Here's Elise running at Mendes. Elise with a shot. Brilliant save by Donnarumma. Strong wrist at the near post. After Elise had glided away from Mendes and unleashed the venomous right-footed shot. It was a good height for the keeper, but it needed saving.
The giant Italian. At times he looks unbeatable with his size and agility, and that was another case. Brilliant from Elise. Obviously Mendes thinking he's going to go on his left foot. He drives onto the right foot. It's a wonderful strike. It's going in that far corner. What a powerful hand away from Donnarumma.
Well, the first time really that either goalkeeper have been called into serious action. Donnarumma, as so often over the course of this season, more than equal to the task. Corner for Bayern, 0-0 on TalkSport. And it's Joshua Kimmich, the experienced German international, who whips the ball towards the far post, headed away by Kvaratskhelia, and the referee had already blown for a foul, I think against Harry Kane.
Yeah, it's been very, very even, hasn't it? And it's now a great save from Donnarumma, a real chance for Fabian Ruiz. Pretty much matching each other, these two quality sides.
Wales giving as good as they're getting over on TalkSport 2 at the moment, 0-0 against the Netherlands in their first game of the Women's Euros. A reminder, TalkSport Breakfast returns this Monday from 6 a.m. Jeff Stelling alongside the former Liverpool and Wales striker Dean Saunders. Alan Brazil back Wednesday to Friday. And as always, you can wake up to Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino on the Weekend Sports Breakfast tomorrow and every Saturday and Sunday from 6 a.m. Neuer with a clearance for Bayern. One back by Kvaratskhelia, and he pokes the ball down the left wing to Fabian Ruiz. Low cross into the area. Doué, I think he's trying to claim that he was impeded there. I think it was just good, strong defensive play, but he is still down. Desiree Doué. And boos and wolf whistles from the Paris Saint-Germain fans. Referee Anthony Taylor feels compelled to stop the game. Just holding he's holding his face and his left shoulder, Dean.
I just think Jonathan Tah steps across so early in this instant, and Doué's either not ready or not expecting it, because he just shrugs him aside. And actually I think it's more his landing, his head's kind of just thrashes backwards towards the floor. That might be the issue. Anthony Taylor obviously stopping for a head injury. But once again it's down that left hand side for PSG, with Kvaratskhelia causing the problems, and Upamecano constantly having to come across to cover, because Lima actually has been quite high up.
I was going to say that it's almost like they're playing with a back three at times, because Lima regularly has found himself very deep inside opposition territory, but it makes it very difficult for Upamecano. I think he's had a good game so far, but up against the box of tricks that is Kvaratskhelia, Kvaradona, as he's affectionately known by fans of his old club Napoli. Doué will be okay to continue. Only turned 20 last month. Doué, 11 goals this season, 2 of them in that Champions League final demolition job of Inter Milan. Hasn't seen too much of the ball in the opening half an hour here. 0-0 between these two European giants, and Musiala has done well to find Coman. If he'd just been able to slot the ball forward for Elise, PSG would have been in big trouble.
No, well done, William Pacho. He recognised it, he got his angles absolutely spot on, but Coman's got to make sure he misses him. He has to either lift that slightly or play it firmer. He didn't. He allowed Pacho to step and intercept, otherwise that would have been a golden chance.
Pretty even in terms of the possession areas. 43% in PSG's final third, 42 in Bayern's. Here's Kvaratskhelia, lovely switch of play out to him again, and he's away from Upamecano. He's into the penalty area. First effort saved by Neuer, and he can't quite smuggle in the rebound. Brilliant goalkeeping from Germany's number one.
Outstanding, wasn't it? He didn't move either, Manuel Neuer. He wasn't put off with the fact that Kvaratskhelia could have played it across. He really focused in on the fact that the Georgian was going to strike that towards the far post, and just anticipated that finish. Got down really well because he got past Upamecano. That change of pace was brilliant. It's a super left hand from Neuer, and then he's really quick to react at the feet of Kvaratskhelia to then stop the Georgian tapping home. 2 bits of quality goalkeeping now from either end.
32 minutes gone. Stop in play here because Stanisic is down again. I think this may be his afternoon over. So goalless here, 0-0 between Wales and the Netherlands in the Women's Euros, but Wales having to ride their luck at times. Their first touch in the opposition box, I'm told, came in the 26th minute. So very one-sided in terms of Dutch possession, but at the moment the Welsh defence holding firm. Much more even here. PSG have lost 7 of their last 9 matches against Bayern Munich, including that 1-0 defeat in the league phase of the Champions League. That effort from Kvaratskhelia, really the first time that Neuer has looked under any kind of stress. They are going to make a change here, Bayern Munich. Stanisic, having picked up that early hamstring issue, is making his way off, and we're going to see Sacha Boey coming on to replace him, the former Galatasaray man.
Yeah, and it's just, will he play at left back, or will he go across to right back and Lima then come across to left back? But Boey will probably have the edge pace-wise over Stanisic, but I think they wanted that protection almost as an extra centre-back over that side to be nice and tight, allowing Lima to get forwards on the right.
Yeah, you wonder now if Lima might have to be a bit more defensively mindful. Let's quickly get back to Edgbaston. Another wicket for Sam Ellard.
Yeah, England in big trouble. They're 2 wickets down. Ben Duckett has to go for 25. Akashdeep going around the wicket, gets the ball to angle into the left-hander, tries to defend it, takes the inside edge, and he goes on to Ben Duckett's stumps. England's target for victory is 600 for 8. Both openers gone, England struggling at 30 for 2.
Cheers, Sam. Bayern Munich coming forward. Boué has gone across to the right-hand side because he's forward here at the other end, and it's a deep delivery towards the far post. Donnarumma, I think, waved an arm at the ball but knew it was going over his head as Musiala tries to keep Bayern on the attack. One back by Vitinha inside his own penalty area, and now Nuno Mendes able to clear upfield looking for Doué, and he's onside. Doué needs a little bit of support. Very isolated, the front man for PSG, and does well to hold the ball and then bring it back into midfield. So Lima has gone across to left back, Boué, Dean Ashton to right back.
Yeah, that is his natural position, so I think Lima's very versatile. He can play in midfield, he can play at full back, so we'll go over to that left hand side and probably tuck in a bit now.
They miss the injured Alphonso Davies, don't they?
Big time.
Particularly in a game of this magnitude. At Club World Cup quarter-final against the European champions, 0-0 with 10 minutes the first half to play. Marquinhos for PSG plays it across his back line, and now Vitinha dropping deep into his own half. According to our friends at DAZN, the ball recovery time in the last 10 minutes has been an average of 19 seconds for PSG, 31 for Bayern. No real surprise.
No, and the big change, isn't it, for PSG? With the players that they've now got, the youth and the energy that they've got at the top end of the pitch. I mean, Kvaratskhelia is the oldest of the three at 24. And they've all got great attitudes, the front three, Barcola, Doué, Kvaratskhelia, to win that backed, of course, by the energy of that midfield.
Two more live commentaries still to come here on TalkSport this evening. Once we're done at 7 o'clock tonight, England against France, as the Lionesses begin the defence of their European Championship. In fact, if this game, PSG Bayern, goes to extra time, that will be over on TalkSport 2. And then 9 o'clock tonight, Real Madrid take on Borussia Dortmund in the last of the 4 Club World Cup quarter-finals. At the moment, extra time feels a distinct possibility. We've only played 37 minutes, but it's very even. Doué trying to come forward for PSG. One back well by Upamecano. At least they went down inside the centre circle, but quickly gets back to his feet as he realises that Bayern are in possession.
Well, he can embarrass you, Bradley Barcola, with his first touch, and then the second one just bursts away from you as a defender.
Here's Harry Kane dropping deep into midfield and then spreading the play out to the right, but the referee had already spotted an offside flag. Is that a sign of Harry Kane's frustration that he's not had much service in the opening 38 minutes, that, as we've seen quite regularly in an England jersey, he starts to drop deep into midfield?
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? But again, if he's going to do that, you've got to recognise it as a team, and that's then when you want... I mean, Elise he's not going to do it, really. He's not going to try and get beyond Harry Kane. So maybe Coman or Musiala's got to be the one that tries to drive beyond Harry Kane, but then Coman has got his hands full with Hakimi, who's trying to get forwards at every opportunity.
Back to Charlotte Richardson shortly, because the Netherlands have just hit the post in that game against Wales. 0-0 there over on TalkSport 2, and goalless here between PSG and Bayern Munich. Kingsley Coman, clever footwork to get away from Neves, crosses into the area, Kane with a header 6 yards out over the bar. Well, that's the type of chance he's been dreaming of. Brilliant from Coman.
And that's been a big feature since he's got to Bayern Munich, is that threat in the area with his head. Great delivery from Kingsley Coman. He's fighting with William Pacho the whole time just to try and get ahead of him. He ends up headering it with his temple almost, because he's side on, having fought the position with Pacho, and then just tries to guide it, almost lets it hit his head rather than trying to get the power in it, because he's leaning back slightly. Couldn't keep it down. I wouldn't say he has to score, because he's fighting so much with the defender where he'll feel he should have.
Scored his 40th and 41st goals of the season in the round of 16, Harry Kane. I mean, you're a former number 9. How would he have been feeling? Bayern 10, Auckland City 0. He didn't score.
Hopefully he was in a mood and didn't want to speak to anyone.
That's just the makeup of a striker, isn't it? They're all selfish, really.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
There's Donnarumma. Out to the right, and Hakimi floats the ball down the right touchline, but he's well won back by Lima. Here's Elise now. Musiala might get a shot away. Good block by Mendes. Made himself big. And then on the rebound, Boué sliding hammers his shot over the crossbar.
Well, he's already got such a great knack, Michael Elise, of playing the pass at the right time. He just held it and held it and held it, waited for the movement and for the PSG defenders to close in on him, and then just fed it to Musiala. Probably should have had a strike straight away. He didn't, and as soon as he took the touch, he was then closed down by Mendes and struck it straight into his shins.
5 minutes to play in the first half. PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0 here on TalkSport. The third of 4 Club World Cup quarter-finals. In the early hours of this morning, we brought you Chelsea's 2-1 victory against Palmeiras. They will play Fluminense in the first semi on Tuesday night, and later this evening, Real Madrid against Dortmund. The winners of that quarter-final will play either PSG or Bayern. That live on TalkSport on Wednesday. The final next Sunday. And let's check in with Charlotte Richardson. Are Wales still holding firm, Charlotte?
They sure are. It's Wales 0, Netherlands 0. 5 minutes of this opening 45 to go. The post has prevented the Dutch from taking the lead. Former Manchester City player Jill Ward smashing the woodwork, a powerful strike on the half volley which the keeper was never getting to. That the closest we have come to seeing a goal, which is testament to Wales's stubborn, organised defending. If they can keep this scoreline until half-time, they are going to be very, very pleased. Full commentary over on TalkSport 2. Wales 0, Netherlands 0.
Great save here from Donnarumma. It was Musiala as the cross came in from the right-hand side. He got the faintest of touches, diverted the ball goalwards, and Donnarumma springs to his left-hand side and claws the ball away.
Well, it's so difficult as a goalkeeper when that cross comes arcing in, and you know if the striker doesn't get a touch, then you're going to have to palm it. If it does, you've got to react. And he held his position as long as he could. It was Pavlovic with a lovely little clipped spinning cross in towards Musiala, who I think missed it in the end, but Donnarumma, as it skipped off the surface, still had to get down low and wait for the last moment to make the save.
That actually made it more difficult, didn't it, for the goalkeeper? The fact that Musiala went for the ball, probably didn't actually get his studs on it, and it's one of those that could easily have gone straight into the far corner.
And that's why then he had to wait so long and then have to have the athleticism to get down to his left to make the save as it skipped off the juicy surface.
Second big save that Donnarumma's had to make, denied Elise as well. Memo Neuer at the other end standing tall to keep out PSG, and Kvaratskhelia. Here's Coman, flicks the ball over the head of Hakimi into the area, and well defended by Paris Saint-Germain. I think Bayern and Vincent Kompany might just be the happier as we tiptoe towards half-time, having ridden out that early pressure from Paris Saint-Germain. They've probably had the 2 best chances.
Yes, they have. They certainly have. And they've caused Paris Saint-Germain some real problems defensively. We're pretty comfortable in the competition so far, Paris Saint-Germain, but Hakimi in particular is having a tough time against Coman on that side, and I think he has improved defensively, Hakimi, but still he can be got at.
Yeah, it's turning into quite a key battle area down this Bayern left. Coman up against Hakimi. 0-0 with 2 minutes the first half to play. It's been a really good watch so far for those crammed into the 71,000 seater Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. There's a throw-in for Bayern over on the far side, which will be taken by their substitute Sacha Boué, on for the injured Stanisic. And he plays it back into his own half, and Upamecano floats the pass out to the left where Lima takes over. Lima just inside the PSG half of the field. Kane coming all the way back into the centre circle, and then a good ball by Upamecano to release Elise. In fact, Boué, the right back, was further forward than Harry Kane there. Maybe it's a bit of an issue for Bayern Munich. We're now having a throw deep inside their own territory.
Well, he just leaves such a massive hole, doesn't he, there, Kane, when he comes deep, because no one's going in there to fill it, because Musiala wants it to feet, and the wide players are very wide. It's just something they haven't made use of as yet.
Still, we wait the first goal of the evening here, and indeed over on TalkSport 2, Wales 0, Netherlands 0 in the Women's European Championship. The Lionesses against France in Zurich to come after we're done here. All that's given away by Vitinha, right on the edge of his own area. Here's Musiala, just slips, and that allows Marquinhos to make the block. The latest example of a player losing their footing. I do wonder, Dean, if that's a result of the roof being closed, because we saw it at Wimbledon last night. Emma Raducanu, in her defeat, took a very nasty tumble because the roof was on at SW19. It does make the turf a bit more slippery and sweaty. Does grass sweat?
Not sure it does. I'll leave you to be the dampness expert within the stadiums. I won't pass judgment, but too many players have slipped, and actually there's been a couple of really poor crosses which you'd have to say can't just be the players. It has to be the pitch, as it's getting plenty of use.
I think I might have just talked my way into clips of the week there. 300 minutes at the end of the first half. PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0. Free kick for Bayern. 20 yards outside the area, level with the right corner of the box, and it's Kimmich, I think, who's going to pull rank here. Elise showing some interest as well. This could be a big moment in the quarter-final. In the first minute of added time in the first half, Bayern have got plenty of red jerseys forward. Kimmich steps over the ball, so it's Elise left-footed towards the far post, and Bayern Munich leads, and it's Upamecano with a header from 12 yards out, and the European champions are behind, but the flag is up, and Bayern's joy is short-lived.
Well, my initial thoughts were he has to be offside because he just seems so free. It's one of those tactics where
he's yards offside.
He is, yeah. We're not going to have to wait long for this to be confirmed. We've seen the tactic before where the attacking team starts in an offside position, they try to jump back onside and then create the chaos. They didn't even get close to getting back onside. Upamecano with a super header, but no way that was going to be given.
No, it would have been a huge moment at the end of the first half. 0-0. I guess you have to credit the PSG defence for the fact that the back line got up so quickly, and there were probably 4 Bayern players offside by the time the free kick actually came in. There has been a goal over on TalkSport 2, and it's not good news for Wales. Charlotte Richardson.
Wales 0, Netherlands 1. The stoic, stubborn defence of the Welsh breached just before half-time. And who else but one of the best in the world, Vivianne Miedema, scoring her 100th international goal for her country. Was given far too much time on the outskirts of the area, switched up feet not once but twice, curled the ball into the top corner. It's a stunning effort, and that breaks the deadlock just before half-time. Wales 0, Netherlands 1.
And a reminder that game continues over on TalkSport 2. Here on TalkSport we've got live commentary from Zurich, where the Lionesses take on France in the other game in that group. Sarina Wiegman's side beginning the defence of their title.
And I think Musiala has got a really, really bad injury here.
Oh, Donnarumma is in tears.
Looks like it could
PSG
be
goalkeeper.
I think it's an ankle dislocation.
It was a coming together between Donnarumma and the Bayern forward, and you can tell by the reaction of Donnarumma that this is a pretty serious injury. Shielding his face, Donnarumma, with his yellow jersey. It reminds me of the reaction of Peter Schmeichel all those years ago when he went into a challenge with David Booth, and the commentary man came away with a very bad injury. We're going to get a stoppage here right at the end of the first half, and in fact the referee has called a halt to proceedings a concerned, anguished look on the face, not just of Donnarumma, but of Vincent Kompany as well. Jamal Musiala, one of the most talented players in Europe, is in real agony here, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no blame whatsoever to be given to Gigi Donnarumma. He does the right thing, he goes down low and collects the ball. Musiala tries to poke it away, he doesn't get near the ball, but then certainly his ankle just gets caught underneath the goalkeeper's weight, and I think that's why the players are so distraught. That ankle dislocation always looks terrible, and we really do just wish him all the very, very best with such a terrible injury for him.
Yeah, a horrendous end to what's been a really entertaining first half. Donnarumma, the PSG goalkeeper, has had to make a couple of excellent saves, one to deny Michael Olise, and then one preventing Musiala himself from putting Bayern Munich in front, and the other end Neuer equal to the task after some brilliant footwork from Kvaratskhelia allowed him to get a shot away at the near post. Nothing to separate the champions of France and Germany in this quarter-final. Half-time here as Musiala is about to be carried off on a stretcher. It is Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0. Thank you very much, Adrian. Bayern Munich making an enforced change for the start of this second half. Serge Gnabry is on for the stricken Jamal Musiala, who was carried off on a stretcher during half-time after a collision with the PSG goalkeeper Gigi Donnarumma, suffering a serious-looking ankle injury in the process. I just wonder, Dean, as Bayern in their all-red strips, shooting from left to right in the second half, prepare to get us underway, what impact that might have on the rest of his teammates when you've seen a colleague suffer what looks a really bad injury.
Well, sometimes it can't be difficult to then look at the insignificance of the actual football match when suddenly one of your teammates or an opposition player gets such an injury. Can really take the edge off it. But again, once this game starts, maybe a little bit tentative to start with in this second half, but they are professional, they'll still want to win.
There's been a second goal early in the second half in the Women's Euro. Charlotte Richardson.
Wales 0, Netherlands 2. Victoria Pelova doubles the Dutch lead just minutes into the second half. It was a very simple finish, allowed too much space to glide into the area, found the far bottom right corner, and it's a perfect start for the Dutch, less so for the Welsh. Wales 0, Netherlands 2.
That game continues over on TalkSport 2. We're back underway in Atlanta. PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0. I'll run you through the two lineups in just a moment, but first of all, back to Edgbaston for another wicket. Sam Allard.
England 50 for 3, and it's the big wicket for India. Joe Root goes for 6. An absolute beauty from Akash Deep. A ball angled into Joe Root, then seams away and bowls him. Root goes for 6. Pope's unbeaten on 17. The target for victory, 608. England in trouble, big trouble, 50 for 3.
More updates from Sam throughout the evening. We've played a minute in the second half in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, still 0-0. PSG with the same 11 that started the game. They're all in blue, shooting from right to left in this second half. Donnarumma the goalkeeper, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes the back four, Neves, Vitinha, Ruiz in midfield, then Barcola and Kvaratskhelia either side of Doué in attack. Kvaratskhelia, after a mazy run that started just inside the Bayern half and was upended by a crude challenge 10 yards outside the box, has just won a free kick. Bayern, who've had to make 2 injury-enforced changes, have Neuer in goal, a back four now of Doué on for the stricken Stanisic, Upamecano, Tar and Lima, Pavlovic and Kimmich the midfield 2, Olise, Gnabry, who came on at half-time for the injured Musiala, and Coman in behind Harry Kane up front. Free kick here for PSG. Is it within shooting range, Dean?
I would expect so. For one of the technicians, it is a long way out, but still be able to get some real dip on this effort. It was Kvaratskhelia with some stunning work on that left-hand side. Ball in towards him, he just let it run through his legs. It went past Doué, who couldn't see the ball, and then he drifted in through midfield and Coman brought him down.
Well, it must be the best part of 40 yards out. This is a very central position, which makes it difficult for Manuel Neuer. Hakimi is one of a cluster of PSG players stood over the ball. Who's your money on here?
Right. I mean, Nuno Mendes is the one that looks most focused. Oh, what was that?
Oh, that's a ridiculous free kick. They tried to fool the Bayern defence as if he was going to sort of step over the ball. He kicked it a few inches in front of him, did Hakimi, hoping that Mendes would run onto it, and he makes himself look a complete fool.
At least he can laugh about it. A little smile from Hakimi. I think that was just a total mix-up.
Wales 0, the Netherlands 2 over on TalkSport 2 of the Women's Euros. 0-0 here between PSG and Bayern, the third of the Club World Cup quarter-finals. Real Madrid Dortmund to come later as Kvaratskhelia has played Barcola in. He's got in behind the Bayern back line. That's a great save by Neuer. Maybe a bit too choreographed for the effort from Barcola, but take nothing away from Neuer, who spreads himself and makes a big save down to his left. 0-0. Here they come again though. Kvaratskhelia just beaten the ball on the edge of the area by Upamecano, and Bayern will look to counter, but they're giving the ball away.
Well, considering how quick Barcola is, I don't think he was at full pace running 1v1.
He might be now though. The ball chipped over the top for Doué in fact, and Neuer quickly off his line to collect on the edge of the box.
Yeah, they've just swapped, haven't they? Doué and Barcola. They do that regularly in this PSG side, but he really did show Manuel Neuer that he was going to that far side. And again, because he's a top goalkeeper, he reads it really well. He gets across and makes the save.
And he stands up until late as well, doesn't he?
Well, so often you know, put the pressure on the attacker, make him have to score with a fantastic finish. Don't gift him one side by going down too early.
The Dutch have hit the bar again in that Women's Euros game. It's a dicey start to the second half of Wales. The Netherlands 2 up in that one. Lionesses against France to come. Live from Zurich, you heard from Adrian Durham, part of our team out there at half-time. A reminder, if this game goes to extra time, it will continue over on TalkSport 2 as we build up to that England game. 0-0 with 5 minutes played in the second half between PSG and Bayern Munich. Throw in for the Parisians midway inside the Bayern half of the field. It was Pavlovic who couldn't keep the ball in play. And you feel, even at this early stage of proceedings, Dean, bearing in mind that PSG have only conceded 1 goal in the whole tournament so far, the first tonight, absolutely crucial.
Yeah, and they've definitely started the better, haven't they? PSG in this second half, they're the aggressors. They're the ones looking to push hard in this game.
A bit too aggressive there in the case of Kvaratskhelia, according to Anthony Taylor, the Premier League referee. Just clipped Boué from behind, free kick inside the Bayern penalty area. Remember, the first of the semi-finals live here on TalkSport on Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock kick-off between Fluminense, the last non-European side left in the competition, and Chelsea. Scott Minto, FA Cup winner with the Blues, amongst your commentary team. On Wednesday, it'll be the winners of PSG, Bayern, the game we're watching now, and the victors of Real Madrid Dortmund to come later tonight here on TalkSport. PSG dictating the tempo since half-time. You wonder how much that serious injury suffered by Jamal Musiala has affected these Bayern players. They haven't really got going since the restart. And the ball is back now with Donnarumma, who's been booed by the Bayern fans inside the stadium. That's a little bit unfair as a result of that collision. They're coming together really with Musiala. Both players making genuine attempts to play the ball, and unfortunately Musiala injured in the process.
Just really, really unfortunate. Yeah, his foot getting caught underneath Donnarumma. Obviously they're not going to show replays of it.
Here comes Nuno Mendes, sprinting down the left-hand side and coming infield for PSG. Had his heels clipped, did he, on the edge of the area? Anthony Taylor had a good view of it and said no. PSG fans inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium convinced they should have had a foul. Bayern looking to add insult to injury. Coman breaking away into the area. It's a poor shot, straight into the arms of Donnarumma at the near post.
Yeah, Marquinhos just did enough there. Just had the pace to keep with Kingsley Coman. Pushed him wide onto his weaker left foot. Couldn't strike the ball well enough across the big Italian. And again, he made the save look really, really simple. Maybe Coman could have just had a look to his right. Gnabry was waiting in the area if he could have got it across.
Well, he scored the winner, Kingsley Coman, when these two met in the Champions League final in Lisbon back in 2020. In the build-up to that breakaway, Nuno Mendes just got a whack on the shoulder as he went in for a slide challenge on the halfway line. And he is feeling the pain of that one. I think he'll be okay to continue. Nuno Mendes, one of the stars of Portugal's win in the Nations League a few weeks ago. Of course, a very poignant victory now, given the sad passing of Diogo Jota last week and his brother Andre Silva. All the players wearing black armbands tonight to commemorate their two fallen colleagues. I wonder if that injury to Nuno Mendes might just help Bayern Munich, just take a bit of sting out of the start that PSG have made to the second half, as João Neves is penalised for a foul on Pavlovic just inside his own half. 0-0 with 55 on the clock here. 2-0 the Netherlands lead against Wales over on TalkSport 2. In fact, there's been another goal in that game. We'll go there in just a moment. Charlotte Richardson watching for us, and having held so firm in the first half, that Welsh resistance has been well and truly broken. Free kick here though for Bayern Munich. Joshua Kimmich, right in the centre of the PSG half, stands over the ball, puts his left arm up into the Georgian sky and rolls the ball out to Coman, who might get a chance to cross here from the left hand side. Decent delivery, headed away by Mendes, and then Coman is dispossessed on the edge of the box, and well, Boué's header asked a little bit of Kimmich there as PSG were flooding forward, but they kept possession. Bayern. Here's Lima. Gnabry's made a good dart ahead of him and a slip by Marquinhos. Gnabry tries to pull it back inside the area, cleared away.
Well, he did try and pull it back, but it wasn't really that good from Gnabry. He didn't really pick someone out, just played it across and hoped that a Bayern teammate was there rather than really picking out one of his attackers. It was well worked from Lima just to drive forwards and slip that ball down the side of Marquinhos.
Let's get back to Charlotte Richardson. Another goal.
Wales 0, Netherlands 3. The Dutch extending their lead so soon, again after the restart has taken the wind out of Wales' sails. Esme Brute is added to the tally. A really smart finish from close range, reflecting the Dutch dominance. Wales 0, Netherlands 3.
And a reminder, the other game in that group, the Lionesses against France, live on TalkSport. Build-up underway from 7 o'clock this evening, kick-off at 8. If this game goes to extra time, you'll hear it on TalkSport 2. 0-0 between PSG and Bayern in the quarter-finals of the Club World Cup. Here is Elise for Bayern. Down the right-hand side into Kimmich, and he cleverly rolls the ball into Jonathan Tah. Good spell of possession this from Bayern after a rapid start to the second half from their French opponents. Now Coman over on the left-hand side, running at Hakimi, getting away from Hakimi, and the cross towards Gnabry at the near post. Just got a little nudge there from Pacho, but not enough for Anthony Taylor to have a serious decision to make, and the ball is now picked up on the halfway line by Kimmich.
Yeah, and he's had the edge over Hakimi as Coman put a good couple of deliveries in now for Bayern. This time no one beyond Gnabry.
Harry Kane looks for the deep cross to the far post, and Coman met it. He got there above Hakimi, headed it against the Moroccan, and Bayern Munich have the first corner of the second half in this game.
Yeah, decent passing towards Harry Kane, who just made the angled run across. Brilliant Pacho, he took a lovely first touch and dug out the cross to the back post. Coman from a standing position, just getting up and heading it straight into the face actually of Hakimi at the back post for a corner.
When they do get forward, both wide players, Coman and Elise, are asking questions of this PSG defence, and we saw it in the Champions League, certainly in that second half against Aston Villa at Villa Park, they aren't necessarily defensively resolute, despite the fact they've only conceded 1 goal in this tournament so far. Corner for Bayern. 13 minutes gone in the second half. It's whipped towards the far post, headed down by Tar, but cleared as far as Coman on this near side, and Elise showed far too much of it, and Kvaratskhelia will try and launch the counter. He's stopped by Upamecano, and the ball is back there with Manuel Neuer. It stays goalless.
And it just shows, doesn't it, when you have pace up against you, Kvaratskhelia is a stunning winger, but put pace up against him, it makes it a lot more difficult. Upamecano's got the edge, and actually since Boué has come on and gone to right backs, Kvaratskhelia has just not been as potent.
Neuer's ball upfield was chested down by Kane. Late challenge by Serge Gnabry, the former Arsenal man, has resulted in a PSG free kick. He's just sportingly helping Pacho back to his feet, Gnabry. It's a free kick just on the edge of the centre circle, and it's a painful one on the ankle there. The stud showing by Gnabry. Again, I think he only had eyes on the ball, but certainly Pacho would have felt it. Haven't had a yellow card, I don't think, yet, have we? As the ball is thrust forward down this left-hand side, and Nuno Mendes sprints to try and keep it in play. He can't do so. It's going to be a goal kick for Bayern Munich away to our left.
Yeah, it's not had the edge, has it, this game, at all? Both teams have just had their periods in the game, the opposition allowing them to keep a bit of possession before putting the pressure on in the middle part of the pitch, but there has been zero edge to this game, and probably even fewer now after that injury to Musiala.
Half an hour to play. PSG nil, Bayern Munich nil. Half an hour of normal time, that is. As Coman drops in his own half, ahead of Hakimi, wins the ball, looks for Conrad Laimer, but PSG able to clear it away for a throw. A very humid afternoon in Georgia. Hence the fact the roof has been closed to try and eradicate any threat of those rogue weather conditions that have played havoc with the tournament at times. Ball back with Jonathan Tah, the big central defender for Bayern. The slower the tempo of the game, the more I think it suits the Germans. Here's Gnabry, forward to Coman, just on the edge of the centre circle. Now Boué, in his bright yellow footwear, finds Elise into the penalty area, and allowed to shoot left-footed and almost spilt by Donnarumma before gathering cleanly. I'm not sure they really want to allow Michael Elise to cut him from the right and his left foot too often. Here's Gnabry now, with the pressure being applied by Vincent Kompany's side, and then it's cleared away. And if he's onside here, Doué, Bayern could be in trouble. The flag stays down. Doué into the penalty area and right across the face of goal, and out for a throw on this near side. But that was nothing more than a hopeful clearance upfield, Dean Ashton, but almost provided the opening. Timed his run to perfection, Doué.
Yeah, he did. He just hovered around the halfway line. Laimer switched off for a second, ball over the top, he was through, a little step over away from Laimer. He just tries to do the right thing, Doué, in terms of flashing it across the 6-yard line, hoping somebody's there without really looking, and nobody was. But round the other end, Michael Elise, even though you know he wants to go onto that left foot, it's very difficult to stop him with how dynamic he is, and the way his body can set you off balance, but he'll be really disappointed with the effort that was straight at Donnarumma without pace.
Gnabry with a little hook ball forward for Bayern. Only Coman inside the PSG half, and Hakimi there ahead of him just to usher the ball back to his goalkeeper. Lots of sport taking place across the globe today. We've got the Lionesses against France still to come here on TalkSport, then Real Madrid Dortmund, the other quarter-final in this Club World Cup. You'll be hearing from Sam Ellard, England struggling in the cricket. The Welsh win 3-0 down, 65 gone over on TalkSport 2 against the Netherlands, and wins at Wimbledon today for Yannick Sinner, the top seed in the men's draw, and Swiatek as well in the women's half. Novak Djokovic out on centre court as we speak. And we will keep you updated on events at SW19.
But it's got that feel at the moment, hasn't it, that one of the managers is going to have to make a change to try and unlock the opposition.
And actually, when I was speaking to Kevin Hatchart, our European expert here at TalkSport, before the tournament, trying to work out who might come out on top, he pointed out that the strength of the Paris Saint-Germain bench may just give them the edge, and perhaps that will be the case in the final 27 minutes today. PSG yet to make a change. Bayern have made 2 enforced ones, and you wonder, in the humidity, with the youth that PSG clearly have on their side, will that be a problem as we get into the business end of proceedings?
Yeah, and let's not forget these players, it's off the back of a very long season, both of these sides playing 50-60 games, so that freshness off the bench could be the key.
I was reading this morning, Chelsea started their season 46 weeks ago, as Hakimi is penalised for a foul on Coman on the edge of the area. Shows his displeasure at the decision from referee Anthony Taylor. I'm not sure there was too much in it. Did kick the ball away there, Hakimi. You're going to have to be careful not to go into the referee's book.
No, I think Anthony Taylor just doing the right thing there. It wasn't a proper kick away. He just was clearly frustrated at the shoulder barge that was given as a foul. But I think he's really come of age at PSG, hasn't he, Hakimi? I think learnt a lot under Conte at Inter Milan defensively, and now that leadership that he's showing at PSG.
Yeah, another big part in their Champions League glory. Gnabry playing the ball forward to Elise inside the penalty. I've got to say that's excellent defending. Really, really good defending. Mendes, I think it was, just to get back across there. In fact, it was Pacho stretching out his left toe, and that just made the shot much more difficult for Elise, and he's lifted it over the bar.
Yeah, it's that pressure, isn't it? It just makes Elise have to rush. It was Gnabry on the half turn looking to play Elise through. He stretched, but so did Pacho. Managed to get a toe to scoop it up and over Donnarumma, but too firm and up and over the top. It's more of a half chance that than a clear one for Elise.
25 minutes to 90 remain. PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0 here on TalkSport. Elise upended by Fabian Ruiz. Free kick for Bayern just inside the PSG half. And they are causing problems. Elise on one wing, Coman on the other. I think Gnabry, since he came on as well in that number 10 position, what we haven't seen much of in this second half is Harry Kane.
No, he's playing the patient role, isn't he? Having to just wait and bide his time, but we know if the chance falls, he'll be ready and he'll probably put it away.
One goal behind in the race for the Golden Boot in this competition, Harry Kane. It's quite a congested race, a lot of players on 3. Here's Elise, took the ball neatly from the sky down by the right corner flag, trying to play it back to Boué. Across comes Fabian Ruiz, but under pressure from Boué, forced to concede a throw. And they are just looking a little bit rattled here, Paris Saint-Germain. It's the German contingent inside the stadium who are making most of the noise now. Kimmich, 10 yards outside the penalty area, 0-0 on TalkSport. Lima goes back to Tar, and he almost showed too much of that to Doué, and then Neuer, the sweeper keeper, took a real chance a mile off his line, and Doué nearly dispossessed him. Here's Harry Kane at the other end, rolls the ball out to his right and Elise into the penalty area, taking on Mendes, stands up across the far post, and it's flicked away by Doué.
But he can ask the question there, Michael Elise, why wasn't one of his teammates on the end of that cross? It was superb.
Gnabry forward, looking for Kane, under his studs the ball, and it's collected by Donnarumma inside the 6-yard box. You are listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on TalkSport, presented by DAZN. Sign up now at dazn.com to watch every game live and for free.
Well, he's always taken a chance, hasn't he, Manuel Neuer? He's always been that type of goalkeeper, almost ahead of the modern goalkeeper we see now. He came out and he's not as quick as he used to be, so Barcola, I think it was, that was on top of him straight away. He just managed to stretch out and make the tackle.
I think we're going to get the first yellow card of the afternoon here. Conrad Lima just catching Doué in the face there as he tried to hook the ball clear left-footed, but it was a high boot and a pretty straightforward decision for the referee. And Conrad Lima, when you're up against the pace and trickery that PSG have in attack, that isn't an ideal situation to be in. On the yellow card, he's going to miss the semi as well if Bayern get there.
It was a strange decision, really. Again, sometimes as a defender you just can't really win it, so why put your foot that high up towards his head? Cut lip, I think, for Desiree Doué. And the right decision from Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, he is down, just receiving a little bit of treatment. Gives me a chance once again to tell you what's still to come here on TalkSport on this busy Saturday of live action. England against France, live from Zurich as the Lionesses begin the defence of their European Championship crown. Adrian Durham steering the ship. Commentary from Joe Shannon, the former Lioness Tash Dowyanix, WSL striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Build up from 7 o'clock tonight, kick off at 8. And that means if this game does go to extra time, it's still 0-0 with 20 minutes to go. We will continue over on TalkSport 2. Also on TalkSport 2 tonight, we have more Club World Cup action, the final quarter-final between Real Madrid
this season.
and
Back into
Borussia
NFL
Dortmund.
Game Pass on the Zone. Watch it.
As PSG are going to their suspension, it's a significant change. Ousmane Dembele, who has been suffering with a thigh issue since the Champions League final, is coming on, and he replaces Bradley Barcola.
Yes, just how fit and sharp is he? Ousmane Dembele clearly not ready from the start. What a player to bring on to try and change things here for PSG. I'm pretty sure he'll go through the middle, but he plays it in his own way.
Dembele, seen very much as a Ballon d'Or contender. 30 goals he scored over the course of the season. He was sent off the last time these two met in the league phase of the Champions League, so maybe goes to banish. And he has 20 minutes of normal time to try and tilt this tie in PSG's favour. A tie that has been very even, fiercely contested. Both goalkeepers needed at times. And you feel that one mistake or one moment of quality in the last 19 minutes plus stoppage time may well decide who continues to the semi-finals. Nuno Mendes knocking the ball away from a tiring Elise, then gets a fortunate ricochet off Doué, and Harry Kane went flying into the tackle, won the ball cleanly, and then he's been barged off it by Kvaratskhelia. Mendes is still down inside the box. Enrique is furious. I mean, it was a firm challenge from Harry Kane, but ultimately I think a fair one.
No, it's a brilliant challenge. Great work from Harry Kane to get back as Nuno Mendes was away. He went sliding in, hooked the ball, bit of the player, and then he actually wins a free kick. It's he's completely deceived Anthony Taylor with that one over against Kvaratskhelia.
It's all over for the day at Edgbaston. Let's get back to Sam Ellard. Sam, a difficult one for England.
Another day dominated cricket by India. First with the bat, Shubman Gill making another 161 runs. India declaring in the evening session on 427 for 6, setting England a very unlikely 608 runs for victory. They go to the close 72 for 3. Crawley, Duckett, Root all out. Pope and Brook will resume tomorrow morning on 72 for 3. England needing 536 runs to win. India needing 7 wickets.
Cheers, Sam. It's still Wales 0, the Netherlands 3 over on TalkSport 2 in Wales' opening game of the European Championships. And here on TalkSport, it's PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0 with 17.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. Who's going to be the hero for one of these two superpowers in European football? The current Champions League winners, the 6-time Champions League winners in Bayern's case. It's the Germans who have the ball, but deep inside their own half. In fact, they've gone all the way back to Manuel Neuer, the green-shirted goalkeeper. He's played it against Kvaratskhelia and then slides in momentarily to win it back, and it's poked goalwards by Dembele, and it's just wide of the empty net. A massive let-off for Manuel Neuer.
Huge let-off, what a mistake. Looking to play out to his right back, just hits Kvaratskhelia. He then just about gets it away from the Georgian, but then Ousmane Dembele's onto it. He's just got to find the empty net. As he's falling, he gets it wrong and hits the side netting. What a massive opportunity that was for Dembele.
You wonder, will PSG get a better one in the final 16 minutes? 0-0, but that's a couple of instances in the last few moments where Manuel Neuer has taken a real chance, and well, this time he was so nearly punished. Kimmich for Bayern, 5 yards inside his own half. 0-0 the score, as Neuer looks to play it forward and picks out Elise, chests the ball down right on the touchline, Elise, but he keeps it in play. Kane now 6 yards outside the area, bit of space for Lima to move into, but he is easily dispossessed by João Neves. Neves' clearance picked up on halfway by Bayern, and here's Coman now after a delightful switch of play by Kane. Coman into the area, his pass is collected by Kimmich, left-footed shot high over the bar. 0-0.
Yeah, good ball out wide from Harry Kane towards Coman, flicked back towards Kimmich, who used the dummy run to cut onto his left foot. He feels like it should be a corner. He felt it was a deflection, which I think it perhaps was, off the backside of Pacho. But neither team are going to want extra time, are they? So I would fully expect both of them to give it a proper go.
Yellow card here. I wonder if that is Vincent Kompany, who has been booked by the referee, I think because of his reaction to the fact his team didn't get a corner there. Kimmich's shot, I mean, it clearly hits Pacho on the backside, and that takes it over the bar and out for what should have been a corner. You can understand Kompany's frustration, but he has picked up a booking. And here come PSG, still full of running late in the game. Fabian Ruiz to Hakimi. Hakimi on that right-hand side, infield for Doué. Slightly different role for him now, and he never really had the ball under control, and he's been penalised for diving, Desiree Doué, so he's going to be shown a yellow card by Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, just overran it and maybe felt if he went down he'd get the free kick. Anthony Taylor was right there. Doué naturally looking as if to say, there's no way I dived, when he clearly did.
So one booking apiece, but no goals still between PSG and Bayern in the third of the 4 Club World Cup quarter-finals. Chelsea against Fluminense live in the first semi on Tuesday. The winners of this tie will take on the winners of our game over on TalkSport 2 later this evening. Real Madrid against Borussia Dortmund on Wednesday night. The final live right here on TalkSport next Sunday. He's had his sceptics this competition, but I think we always felt that it would come to the boil in the business end when the big guns came to the fore, and certainly on this side of the draw that's exactly what's happened. The European heavyweights dominating. We're going to see another change here in just a moment as the clock ticks into the 78th minute. PSG have a free kick in their left wing position. Coutinho rolled the ball forward, at least they try to roll it back again. A little bit pantomime. Meanwhile, Vincent Kompany, the Bayern boss, is getting more and more animated. Down below us. Here is Matinha for PSG, pokes the ball down the line to Mendes. Mendes into Doué, well held up by him, and Kvaratskhelia takes over, but showed too much of it to Conrad Lima. Harry Kane stopped in his tracks, and Bayern a bit outnumbered on the edge of their own penalty area. Neves, clever little turn inside the box from him, into Doué, left-footed shot from Doué, into the bottom corner, and that may be the goal that takes Paris Saint-Germain into the semi-finals of the Club World Cup. He was one of the heroes of their Champions League triumph, and Doué has come up with a big moment with 12 minutes to go. A left foot shot from just outside the area that deceived Manuel Neuer before nestling into the bottom corner, and it is PSG 1, Bayern 0.
Head in his hands, Harry Kane, he makes the mistake near the halfway line. He's caught on the ball by João Neves, who bursts forward, plays a lovely 1-2. João Neves fakes to shoot, cuts back to Doué, edge of the box, and Manuel Neuer can't see it. He deceives him, looks as if he's going to curl it into the far corner with his left foot. He drags it towards the near, goes through the defenders. Neuer can't see it, he slips as he tries to change direction, the German goalkeeper, and get nowhere near it because of the strike from Doué.
And you wonder what do Bayern have by way of a response in the final moments here. Doué, the scorer for PSG, seconds, I think, Dean Ashton, before he was about to be taken off anyway, with blood still pouring from that lip after being caught in the face by Lima. Zaire Emery and Lucas Hernandez both being ready, and again that's an illustration of the strength and depth that Luis Enrique has at his disposal. Warren Zaire Emery, a player on the radar of a lot of Premier League teams this summer, but one that PSG are determined to keep hold of. He is on for Doué, and Hernandez coming on as well.
Yeah, just looking to see who it was exactly that went off. I think it might have been Fabian Ruiz in midfield, and there's been a bit of a switch around, I think.
A double change for Bayern Munich as well. Müller and Goretzka are on for Coman and Pavlovic, and this could be significant as far as Thomas Müller is concerned. It's his 756th appearance in a Bayern shirt. Unless they can score and turn this tie around, it will be his final ever appearance in a Bayern shirt before leaving the club at the end of the competition. 9 minutes plus stoppage time to go. PSG 1, Bayern Munich 0. It's a really good finish from Desiré Doué. Has become such a key component for Luis Enrique, and their quest to win a fourth title of the season is very much still alive.
Well, you said Kevin Atchard talked about the strength in depth from the bench, but also it's the youth of this PSG side, these young fearless players that they have with so much pace and quality, and Doué really shining towards the end of the season.
And there's been another goal in the Women's European Championship. Let's get back to Charlotte Richardson.
The ball had found the back of the net, Alex, but it has been disallowed for offside, so it's still Wales 0, Netherlands 3, and we're heading towards the final 5 minutes. The former European champions comfortably ahead in this Group D opener. They've made a number of changes, still have a very firm group of play, probing to add to their tally. Wales, meanwhile, giving everything to their Euros debut. There's some tired legs, searching for a consolation goal of their own. Full commentary over on TalkSport 2, Wales 0, Netherlands 3.
And that's what we're hearing from Charlotte there. The referee Anthony Taylor has shown a red card here, and PSG a goal to the good of down to 10 men. William Pacho with the over-the-top challenge on Goretzka, just on for Bayern Munich. He was over the top of the ball, Dean. He did go stud showing and caught Goretzka. Pacho's PSG teammates are protesting his innocence, but I don't think this one will be rescinded.
Not a chance. It's a horrible challenge for Pacho. He's got a straight leg towards Goretzka, who's come on, who just takes the ball away, and he catches him right on the middle of the shin. And I think the PSG players are unhappy because Anthony Taylor took his time. He went over, he saw the damage that the challenge had done to Goretzka's sock and his shin. Looked like it had been cut, and it was pretty obvious from that the challenge had the force and the seriousness to give a yellow card to Pacho, who can have absolutely no complaints. What a ridiculous challenge.
So PSG are going to have to see out the final 7 minutes here with 10 men. They're going to make a change as well. Beraldo is coming on for Kvaratskhelia, so an extra defensive player to go in alongside Marquinhos at the heart of the Parisian defence. If Bayern were to equalise now, well, you would have to favour them going into extra time. Kvaratskhelia certainly not moving as quick as he normally does as he makes his way off to.
No, he'll understand that decision, of course. Beraldo coming on to maintain that back four. Dembele can play the lone striker role, but you're right, Bayern have got to think now, can we equalise? And it would give us the edge.
Free kick to be played in, I think, by Elise. Headed away by Beraldo, having just come on. And as Bayern Munich commit bodies forward, even with 10 men, PSG will remain a threat on the counter. They lead by a goal to nil. There are 6 minutes remaining at the end of the 90 at the moment. Desiree Doué's goal is going to send the European champions into the last 4 of the Club World Cup. Can Bayern salvage it? Elise has been body checked there and wins his teammate. Free kick.
Yeah, it's just a case now, isn't it, as a team, PSG defending properly, defending with some serious desire, because they're going to be under pressure from now until the final whistle.
It was Lucas Hernandez who gave away that free kick. Kimmich is against it over the ball, usually such a good set piece taker. There are probably 7 red shirts inside the penalty area for him to aim at Kimmich. Kane is one of them, headed away by João Neves, and then he completes the clearance from inside his own box. Neves, Dembele is going to try and make it awkward for Elise, but he is able to cushion the ball down from the sky and back to his goalkeeper Neuer. 5 minutes remaining, PSG 1, down to 10 men, Bayern Munich 0. And of course Pacho, as a result of that red card, will miss not just the semi-final but the final as well, should PSG get there. Team news from the Lionesses very shortly, but PSG looking to pick their way forward. Mistake by Hakimi, and let's cross immediately to Zurich and your match commentator Joe Shedden.
Thanks, Alex. England make just one change from their warm-up win over Jamaica, but it's a highly significant one. Chelsea's Lauren James makes her first start since April in place of Ella Toone, and the Lionesses start their Euros title defence against France here in Zurich. It'll be live on TalkSport.
Yeah, commentary to come as soon as we're finished here in Atlanta. And if Bayern were to equalise, the extra time will be heard over on TalkSport 2. They've got 4 minutes plus stoppage time to cancel out that Doué goal. And no surprise against 10 men. Vincent Kompany's men dominating possession now. Elise into Upamecano, well forward, skims the ball over the top, and Harry Kane with a header off the post and in. But my initial reaction was that Harry Kane was in an offside position. The PSG players certainly felt that way, and the assistant has his flag up. And for the second time this afternoon, the goal will be ruled out. He is just the wrong side of the last PSG defender, Kane. Excellent header.
Oh, superb header from Kane. Couldn't be kept out by Donnarumma. Brilliant ball from Upamecano as well, from a straightish angle. But well done, Achraf Hakimi. He spots that Harry Kane's offside, and at the last second he just steps up to catch him. That's actually really, really good defending.
Rafael Guerreiro is coming on for the last 3 minutes plus stoppage time for Bayern Munich. Sacha Boue is replaced, so an attacking move from Vincent Kompany to bring on the Portuguese international Guerreiro. With PSG down to 10 men. Company is going to throw everything at them for the final few moments in this game. And again, this is the difference, isn't it, Dean? For this PSG side, the class of 2025 to previous PSG sides. Previously, even leading by a goal to nil, down to 10 men, you would expect them to buckle. Here, you're maybe expecting them to see it out.
Yeah, they have definitely changed their mentality, and winning something like the Champions League makes such a difference.
Good ball forward by Elise though. Harry Kane in space inside the area, Muller can't find him. The loose ball falls kindly for Elise down by the right corner flag. Elise trying to work his way into a crossing position. He pulls it back to the edge of the area. And Upamecano, deep delivery looking for Kane. Good header away by Marquinhos, the captain. But they can't get out here, and then that's wasteful from Jonathan Tah as he tried to just scoop the ball over the top of the PSG defence. He's got too much purchase on it. It's behind for a goal kick, and Vincent Kompany looks very forlorn by that.
And we see it so often. You can't let the opposition off. PSG can't get out, so continue to maintain the pressure, the momentum that you've got. Don't try the clever ball over the top as Jonathan Tah did there, and then you just gift PSG a minute or so's rest.
Well, we asked the question right at the start of the commentary: would PSG's defensive record ultimately get the better of the joint leading scorers in the tournament? At the moment, it looks like that will be the case. The Parisians lead by a goal to nil in the last minute of the 90 here on TalkSport. And the ball is down on the edge of the Bayern penalty area. Guerrero does well to run it to the halfway line. And then Elise back in field for Goretzka. Goretzka spots Kimmich in space inside the centre circle. Forward again to Guerrero. Now Kane out to Elise. Plenty of red jerseys ahead of him. Elise was dispossessed by João Neves, I've got to say, has worked tigerishly in midfield for PSG, but here is Upamecano, and it's a defender's cross straight into the arms of Gigi Donnarumma.
He did so well. Upamecano's been outstanding, by the way, in the game. He's only been beaten once, really, defensively, and getting forwards now. It's a poor cross, straight at the goalkeeper. Again, a gift.
6 added minutes remaining. PSG won Bayern Munich in this quarter-final. Thomas Müller, who's done so much in Bayern colours down the years. Can he come up with a big moment here? Cross into the area. Again, Marquinhos with a header clear. He's been a rock at the heart of that PSG defence, certainly since they went down to 10 men. Marquinhos. Neves now. Out to the left-hand side, and Dembele. Dembele with a switch of play. And it needed to be headed away by Müller. Dispossessed by Zaire Emery. Then Hakimi back out to Zaire Emery, the PSG sub. They will just try and keep possession and run down the clock here. They're into added on time over on TalkSport 2 as well. Wales women 0, Netherlands 3. Certainly no disgrace in that scoreline for the Welsh, as really cheaply a free kick is conceded, and it's another red card. Lucas Hernandez for an elbow. I don't know what was going through his head there as he caught in the face Rafael Guerrero as he was trying to bring the ball away. What's he thinking, Dean Ashton? It's another red card for PSG. They're down to 9 men now. It's another player out of the semi-final, and I don't think he can have any complaints at all.
Well, he steps across unnaturally and then just throws the elbow, which catches Guerrero right on the chin. I'm not sure that there was actually so much force behind it, but Anthony Taylor doesn't know that, because the point of the elbow from Hernandez straight into the chin of Guerrero, and Anthony Taylor feels that's enough to give him a red card. And actually, you can't have too many. If you're going to throw the elbow, you're putting yourself in a terrible position.
Well, we saw this earlier in the competition, didn't we? Was it Botafogo against Benfica? 2 red cards in that game. He's still having to be ushered off the pitch here by Anthony Taylor. Lucas Hernandez, he's not going to change his mind, the Premier League official. And what drama right at the end of the game. We've still got more than 3 minutes of added on time. PSG lead 1-0, but they are down to 9 men. Luis Enrique is raging. The referee Anthony Taylor is just making it clear to the crowd, pointing to his watch, that he will be adding more time on here. And what an opportunity for Bayern Munich to get back in the game. He was in possession, Lucas Hernandez, when he gave away the free kick deep inside his own half. Kimmich stands over it. Plays it short to Elise. Elise is going to try and run into the penalty area, crosses left-footed, not a great delivery, and PSG again have cleared it away. What a finish this game, Dean. What a last 15 minutes or so.
Oh, it's opened up. It's PSG, though, that's allowed it.
Kimmich with a cross. Good ball in, brilliant header. Great header away. And it will be a corner. And that was a really smart piece of defending, facing his own goal there by the Brazilian Beraldo.
And they've just got to get through this, haven't they? PSG allowing Bayern to score now. You think they'd have no chance in extra time.
Ousmane Dembele was down his haunches. I don't think that's a recurrence of the thigh issue. I think he's just trying to run down the clock here as Elise stands over the corner. Bayern's 4 for the game, trailing by a 1-0 here on TalkSport. It's finished on TalkSport 2. The Netherlands have beaten Wales by 3-0. Elise with a delivery right across the face of goal and headed onto the roof of the net by Goretzka.
Yeah, decent whip delivery from Elise, left-footed in towards the goal. Goretzka looking just to skim it off his head into that far corner. He gets too much on it, loops onto the roof of the net, and another 30 seconds or so can be wasted by Donnarumma.
Well, we're into the 5th of 6 added minutes, but I would suggest there's going to be at least a couple more added on because of the Hernandez red card and the amount of time he took to get off the pitch. Vincent Kompany stands arms astride, I think just asking his team to make sure they keep pressing high here. Lucas Enrique is very animated as well to his left as Bayern have a throw way back inside their own half. PSG leading by a 1-0, but down to 9 men after 2 red cards in the final 10 minutes of the game. A goal for Bayern now would surely put them in the box seat to qualify for the semi-finals. But here is Neves. It's 3-on-3 at the other end. João Neves into Dembele. Can he finish it off the underside of the bar? PSG inches away from going 2-0 up with 9 men. That would have been incredible. Here's Hakimi. Surely content just to keep the ball down by the corner flag, Hakimi. Instead he dribbles into the penalty area, pulls it back for Dembele! And they've done it now! Ousmane Dembele sends the 9 men of PSG into the semi-finals. And what an incredible finish we've had in Atlanta. PSG 2, Bayern Munich 0.
Talk about a change in mentality in a football club after lifting the Champions League. They are a different animal. This Paris Saint-Germain team, down to 9 men, breaking away, 3 of you, looking to counter-attack, hitting the underside of the bar. That's not enough. Hakimi then doesn't hold it in the corner. He weaves his way through brilliantly, tucks it back to Dembele, and he thought, this time I'm not going to make a mistake. Firm, crisp side foot away from Neuer, right into the corner, and wheels away to celebrate, as does Luis Enrique.
Ousmane Dembele announces his arrival on the Club World Cup. He's been a frustrated spectator for the most part due to that thigh issue, but the man whose goals fired PSG to their first ever Champions League trophy has just sent them into the last 4 with 9 men. It's his 31st goal of the season. You have to say it was a fine finish after great work from Hakimi. Bayern fans inside the stadium stunned, Vincent Kompany stunned, but the 9 men have managed to come forward and score a sucker punch second deep into stoppage time, into the 8th added minute. 6 were indicated and PSG lead by 2-0. Bayern coming forward for what now would be no more surely than a consolation goal. Elise shoots from the edge of the area, good save to his right, Donnarumma, and got plenty of distance on it as well. Here's Kimmich now, edge of the box, deep cross looking for Muller. Oh, the goalkeeper missed it. Muller heads it goalwards and it's cleared off the line by Beraldo. Was there a handball though? It's a penalty for Bayern Munich in the 8th minute of stoppage time. This is bonkers.
What is going on? Again, you think it's over. Donnarumma flaps slightly at it. Muller just gets hold of it, goes to head it into an empty net.
Well, Mendes, I think, could have been penalised for a high foot.
I think so. There's no handball in there, that's for sure. Mendes, though, foot is really high as Muller tries to head it.
Yeah, it's the Mendes high foot as opposed to Beraldo, who actually sort of caught the ball in his midriff and then hacked it clear. I wondered if they might give it to Thomas Muller on his farewell appearance, but looks like Harry Kane is pulling rank here, and you wonder, is there still time against the 9 men for Bayern Munich?
Well, they're feeling that he got some touch on the ball, Mendes. Okay, the foot is high, it's near his head. Anthony Taylor might go and review this, I would expect. Does he actually make contact with Thomas Muller's head anyway, or is it just great defending?
I'm not sure there was loads of contact, but they might complain, Bayern Munich, that because the foot was so high, that stopped Thomas Muller maybe meeting it with full force. But the fact Anthony Taylor has come over to the monitor suggests that maybe we're going to get one last twist here and the penalty will be overturned, because I don't think he actually made contact with Muller, Mendes.
No, he's just looking to flick the ball away from Muller's head, and then the ball gets trapped between Mendes' toe, Muller's forehead, but there's actually no contact with Muller himself.
Anthony Taylor in consultation with the VAR room, and he's made a fairly swift decision. Still in conversation as he enters back onto the field, Anthony Taylor, and he is indicating here, I think, that the penalty decision will be overturned.
Paris, number 25, plays the ball onto the attacker's head. There is no contact between the defender's foot and the attacker. Therefore, no penalty. The drop ball to the goalkeeper.
Well, there you go, Anthony Taylor just explaining his decision to the 70,000 or so inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. No foul is the decision, and it will be a drop ball in PSG's favour, and surely that ends any faint hopes they had of a dramatic late comeback. PSG 2, Bayern 0, and we've played well over the 6 added minutes that were indicated, double in fact.
I think if he should know better now, Anthony Taylor, just blow the whistle. It's been ridiculous, the end of this game.
There is the whistle. The European champions are into the semi-finals of the Club World Cup. Bayern's dreams of winning the competition for a 3rd time are over. It took until the 78th minute for Desiree Doué to break the deadlock. Then all hell broke loose, quite frankly. William Pacho sent off with 8 minutes remaining for a poor challenge. Lucas Hernandez for an elbow in stoppage time also saw red. They will both miss the remainder of the competition, but even with 9 men, PSG still scored a second. Ousmane Dembele off the bench to seal it 6 minutes into added time. It is Paris Saint-Germain who progress. It finishes PSG 2, Bayern Munich 0.